Welcome geometry students. Today we're doing a Kuta worksheet tutorial on SSS and SAS congruence. Now the first thing we got to understand about SSS and SAS is what it stands for. So the S's stand for side, so this is talking about side, side, side. Okay, and then this is obviously, again, these S's are side, but in between we have angle. So what does this mean? Well, let's give a demonstration here. Actually, I'm going to change this color. Let's change it to green. So let's say we have a triangle, and actually we have two triangles. So I'm going to copy this one, paste, and let's say we don't know anything. So we don't know about this triangle yet, but let's say we're given, okay, instead that these sides are congruent. So with the two triangles, we notice that all these three sides match up with the three sides of the other triangle. With this property of congruence, we know that it's congruent because all three sides are the same. Now, you're probably thinking, well, if all three sides are the same, do we know about the angles? And the answer is yes. If all the sides are the same, then also all the angles are congruent also. So that's just one of the first properties. We don't necessarily need to find all the angles and all of the sides. We can just find all the sides, and that proves. There's only a couple of these properties. Like, for example, you can't find all the angles and assume the two triangles are congruent. Okay, that's not one of the properties. But the ones we're learning today are SSS and SAS. I forgot which one I said. All right. Now, the other one, SAS, looks something like, if I can get this going, looks something like this. Okay, so I got one triangle. I'm going to copy this guy and paste it. So we have two triangles here, and we don't know anything about them. But if we're given that, we'll stick with this. If we're given, no, I'm going to change color. That we have a side that's congruent to this side, and then an angle that's congruent, and then another side that's congruent, then this would be these two triangles would all be congruent based on SAS. That means that the angles would also be congruent, and the last side would also be congruent. Just based on the yellow, just based on the side, angle, and side. Now, it's very important that the side, angle, side has to be all next to each other, okay? So it has to be sandwiched in between. This angle needs to be formed by the two congruent sides. So these two sides here need to come together to form that angle that's in between. So that's a very important consideration to make. Now, the second thing we got to learn is, as we're doing these problems, we have to label first. So we always want to label these triangles. So if we're looking at number one, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at it and we're going to label what types of sides that we have. So if we're looking here, we have this that's marked congruent with this guy. And actually, I need to rewind a second. We're like, okay, hold on. We got the shape here. How do I know we're talking about triangles? Well, we should probably highlight our triangles. So let's mark this one in purple, and let's mark the next one in green. So we have a green triangle and a purple triangle. All right, now let's highlight what they have in common. So we have here a side. Now, anytime you see those two lines, that means we have a congruent side. So we are going to label it S. I'm going to label it on both. Okay, we're going to look for something else that they have in common. So we see here we have an angle, and those two angles are the same. They're both 90 degrees, so we're going to say A. So we're going to mark that A. Now you're thinking, okay, there's only two things given. We need a third thing, okay? Well, we do have to look for a third thing, and we can always look for kind of hidden things. So if there's vertical angles and it's not necessarily given, or supplementary angles or something like that, in this particular case, we have a side that is shared both by the green triangle and by the purple triangle. This side belongs to both triangles. Now, what do we call that? Well, we call that congruent because of the reflexive property. The same line is congruent to itself, obviously, it's the same line, but since it belongs to two different triangles, we know that they share that side, and that will be another common side that they have in common. So S and S. I'm going to label S for both the purple and the green. Okay, now I'm looking here, and what I want to do is I need to figure out what is my congruent statement. This is where people get confused, okay? So how do we do this? Well, I always want to start where there's kind of like empty space. So over here, notice how I don't have that angle labeled. I don't have that side labeled. So I want to kind of start there, and then I'm going to look for the next. So after looking at this empty space, I'm going to look for the next available given side. So here, I can either start here, or I could start here, because we had the empty space here. We don't know about those angles. This angle and this angle, we don't know about it, and we don't know about that side. So I can start there, but then I need to work my way around the triangle, either counterclockwise or clockwise, to find the next given. So I'm just going to go this way. I'm going to go counterclockwise. It's not important, but I just want to make sure that this letter that I circle is like an end cap. What I mean by end cap is, whoops, I didn't mean to do that. What I mean by end cap is there's only letters to the right, directly to the right or left of it, okay? So as I go this way, I start here, and since I started going this direction, I need to keep going this direction. So the next letter I arrive at is A, and the next letter I arrive at is S. So this is going to be SAS for that triangle, and I need to make sure it matches up with the other triangle. So here I start at the same position, the two-lined S, okay, and then I have to go towards the angle. Just like I went towards the angle here, I need to go towards the angle here, and I get S. That's the next one, and then this side is the next available one, and I get SAS, okay? So I know if this is SAS, and those are the same angles and sides, and this is SAS, and they're the same angle sides, then they are congruent based on SAS. So they're congruent because of SAS, and that's our answer. Let's move on to the next one, okay? Since we're on the train of SAS, let's go ahead and do the same process here. So we're going to look for sides. So I'm going to go to this side, okay? And this side, we have a side that we can label. I'll go ahead and use this blue again, I guess. I should change this to blue then. So I have a side and a side, label S and S. I have an angle and an angle, okay? Oh, I forgot to do something. What did I forget to do? I forgot to make my triangle purple and green. Okay, always separate your triangles. Okay, so I have an angle and angle, and then the last thing, this is the hidden one. They both share this side, so this is going to be its own side, reflexive property. So I have one last S. Okay, look for some empty space, or just look for an end cap. So in this case, look here, I don't have angle there, I don't have a side there. I notice, just from looking, that this is, whoops, this S is kind of by itself. Okay, there's only a givens to one direction of it. I can't choose A because look, there's something to the left and something to the right, so you don't want to start there. You want to start at the end of a three-letter sequence. Okay, so SAS, you want to start at one of these letters. So we're going to start here, and I'm going to work my way to the next nearest given, and that's A. And then I go here, and that's S. So this is going to be SAS for the purple triangle. Okay, now I'm going to start at the same given here for the green triangle. Let me change the color to like this dark green. So I'm going to start right here for the dark green triangle. That's S. Okay, oh, I forgot to label that for the green. And then I'm going to go to the next nearest, the angle, just like we did in the purple triangle. So we have A, that was my next one. And now I'm going to go, okay, you should notice something here. Notice how the next available side is not given. Notice how I skip a side and I skip an angle. This is important. You can never, when labeling, L-A-B-L-L-I-N-G, you can never skip an angle and a side. Okay, you can't do that. You can't skip two things. Okay, because we skip, that's too many. Okay, so this one doesn't match as we had side, angle, side, all in a row, SAS. But this one we have side, angle, and the side's missing. There's missing, so it's not the same. This one would actually be, if we were to do it the same way, this eraser is a little too big. Okay, if we were to do it the same way, this one would actually be side, the next given, we can skip one angle, side, angle, side, side, angle. And that does not match this So this one is not congruent. Okay, I know I'm taking my time with this. This is kind of confusing for people at first, so I'm going to try to take my time, make sure we understand it. I'm going to do number 3 and then 5, and then I'll probably cut this video short. Maybe I'll do a part 2 because this is definitely kind of a new concept for many people. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight my 2 different triangles. Okay, so I have the green and purple. Let me try that again. Okay, so I have green and purple. Now I'm going to label my sides. So I have, let's do that in blue. So I have this, that's an S. The next one, A. I decided to go this way. Obviously, there's nothing that way. Okay. And then I go, oh, there doesn't look like there's anything, but there's this one right here that's shared. So I'm going to label it, make a 3, and then that is a side. Okay. Let's see if I have the same one for the green triangle. So I'll use orange. I have a side here. Okay, I'm going to go towards the angle. I have an angle, that's the very next measurement. And then here I have another side, okay, and I'm done with that. Now, do they match? Well, if I go this way, I go from the 2 to the angle to the 3, that's side, angle, side. This way, I go from the 2 to the angle to the 3, that's side, angle, side. They match, that means they are congruent because of side, angle, side postulate. Okay. All right, so those 2 are done. I guess I'll go. No, I'm going to do number 4 real quick since we're just basically doing side, angle, side. We're going to label here. So obviously we don't need to draw our true triangles. We can see them clearly, but I'm going to go ahead and show you. These are our 2 triangles, in case you didn't notice. Okay, so then we have this guy, side, and then we have an angle, and then side, all in a row. So that one's good. That's SAS. We go from the 3 to the angle to the 2. Okay, so this one I have a side, and have an angle. So we want to start at one of the ends, so we can either make it side, side, angle, going this way, or this would be angle, side, side. Well, guess what? Anytime you get this, that's no good, and this one's no good either. By itself, it's no good, but it doesn't match this guy, so this one is not congruent either. Okay, so actually I'm going to put a pause on this. That was side, angle, side. I'm going to do a part 2 with this where I talk about side, side, side congruence. Stay tuned, and I'll see you next time.